How old? 30 years? 30 years of what?
Someone just wrote my 30th anniversary. I thought
They're
right.
married longer than 30?
I know, that's what I'm saying, someone wrote it.
Oh.
It's my 30th anniversary.
I get there myself, and I think I'm gonna like it.
Okay.
I thought right back 30.
Oh, that's
I
80
don't
years.
even remember.
I know.
It's in
So
process.
long ago.
It's just
That
harder
was
with
a long time
businesses
ago.
To go through, but
I know.
I'm still gonna have plenty to do with other things, but working on it.
Yes.
Yeah, there's something about that too.
Good, it's a party up here.
I was just gonna go up there. Yeah.
What did he see on the other side? Forbidden to tell us. Maybe he knows all the secrets, man. No, I don't work at the MTC. They say I'm not for MTC.
I just love having to ask the audience to hush. We don't get this privilege very often. But thank you for being here and welcome to our City Council meeting here this Monday, November 20th, 2023, here in the Lindon City Council chambers. I'd like to welcome you here, Mayor Carolyn Lundberg, along with our City Council here this evening, those of you that are here in person and also online. So we have an agenda out the front door. If you didn't catch that, you can go ahead and pick one up and follow along. But the first thing we will do this evening is we will have an invocation given by Councilmember Randy Powell, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. And I'm really thrilled to introduce a young man, Tatum here, Johnston, who will lead us in the pledge. And we'll go from there.
Our dear kind Heavenly Father, with grateful hearts we come before thee as citizens and concerned individuals for the city of Lindon and neighbors and friends. As we come to the city council meeting, Father, we ask for a blessing upon us that we'll be able to have a cordial spirit and be able to understand each other and make good decisions and have great conversations about those decisions. We are so mindful of our first responders who take care of us, who watch over and protect us in all of our daily needs, things that we are not even aware of. We're also grateful for this great country that we have, for the freedoms in which we enjoy here. We pray for the leadership of our country, that wisdom will prevail and that we'll have understanding amongst each other. We also pray, Father, for the unrest in our world at large. We pray for those who are in harm's way. And we pray for our sisters and brothers who stand for what is good and what is right in lands that are far away. And we say these things most humbly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. All right, thank you so much, Tatum. You did a fantastic job, and you'll be on the official record with your dad tonight. All right, we will now begin with a call to order and roll call here. I'll just start on my left here with our council members in attendance.
Daryl McElwee, present.
Van Broderick present.
Jake Hoyt, present.
Carolyn Lundberg present.
Mike Van Cherry, present.
Randy Powell present.
Okay, we are all here together. This is great. We will now also go on to presentations and announcements. So we have a very special ceremony this evening. We are so thrilled to have an amazing new officer here joining our PD, Garrett Johnston. All right, and we'll have that presentation right now of the swearing in.
So, Mayor and Council, just to introduce Garrett. He comes to us with 6 years previous law enforcement experience and 20-year military career. So, obviously, we're excited to have him join our team and be a big benefit to the city and the citizens here. We're excited to have him. With him is his wife Sydney, his son Tatum, and his mother-in-law Julie. So he was smart to invite him. So we'll have him come up and be sworn in by Kathy, and then we'll have Sydney pin the badge on him after.
Sid. Garrett?
Garrett.
What branch of the military were you in?
Army, yeah, 31 years total,
Oh, my gosh.
22 active.
Well, thank you.
Thank you
For
for
your
your
service.
service.
And family, you're welcome to get closer if you want to get a good photo op too.
Okay, you ready? Just raise your right hand and repeat after me, please. I state your name,
I, Garrett Johnston,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Utah,
and the Constitution of the State of Utah,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Okay, there you go. Congratulations.
All right, family, why don't you come up here and let's get a picture with your proud papa, husband, son-in-law here with his certification. Come on up.
Can I take a picture, please?
Thank you.
Well, we are really lucky to have such fine talent join our team here, and I want to also acknowledge his brothers here in the PD that are here to support, and welcome to the team.
And sister.
And sister, yes. Anything you'd like to say here at this point?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Come on. Speech.
Sure. So I'm just feel very grateful and honored for the opportunity to serve the city of Lindon. Like the chief alluded to, I served in law enforcement for about 6.5 years up north. I was with Salt Lake City. Had an opportunity to go active duty in the National Guard. I was part-time and did that. Loved my military experience in that, but there was a big part of me that always wanted to wear this uniform again and continue to serve. Service is something that is big to me, and I feel like when we have an opportunity to give back of ourselves in whatever capacity, whatever uniform, that we're blessed and rewarded, and I'm just grateful that I landed in this agency of all the places. It's a perfect fit. My wife's happy. She don't want me to go back up over the point of the mountain to do this, so, but I'm glad to be here. Everyone from the department's been awesome, even the lieutenant. But, no, super glad to be here and help serve the community, so thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right. Now, for item 2B on the agenda, we have another special presentation tonight that's going to be presented by Mary Barnes with our planning department. She held an annual photography competition, but it has a lot more meaning than just photography, and so she's going to explain what that was about.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so each fall, the American Planning Association designates the month of October as National Community Planning Month, a month to highlight planning and how it shapes communities and creates beautiful places all over the U.S. For the past 3 years, this is our third year doing it, Lindon City Planning Department, me and Mike have decided to celebrate that by holding a photo contest. This year, that theme was Lindon's Legacy, Past and Future. The mayor actually helped us come up with that theme, so thank you. We received about 30 submissions, and staff and elected and appointed officials voted on them, and so many beautiful places that really showed Lindon's legacy. But the top 3 pictures were done by Brett Swalberg, which I'll have you stand up and show your picture, and it's also on the screen. Yeah. And Luann Olson here in the back. And the final one was Terry Lynn Ranulfson, and I'm not sure if she's here tonight. Maybe not, but that's okay. This is her picture. It's a beautiful one of the flag in Lindon City Park in the snow. Gorgeous. Anyways, I wanted to let the present winners maybe talk about their photos a little bit and how it goes with our theme of Lindon's legacy.
Come on up. Don't be shy.
Sorry, it comes with the
Previous guy.
I should also mention Brett Swalberg is our Historic Commission chair.
Okay, I'm just sitting here and addressing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was excited to learn that next year is our 100th anniversary in Lindon. And so I've been thinking about the past 100 years. I've been reading in our town, the history book that we have, and just seeing how much growth and development has happened the past 100 years. It's really been amazing to see what this small farming community has turned into in 100 years. But it's kind of also fun if you hike up the mountains. This is taken up Dry Canyon. And Mary, in fact, just told me today that this has a name. It's called the Great Blue Gate. But once you get up there, past that gate, things are as they were 100 years ago. And so you really get to see the legacy of what the early pioneers saw when they entered this area, and it was untouched land and where it's come from. So I think it's a nice juxtaposition of the old wilderness and the gate through which you enter into what we have modern day Lindon. So that's what I was thinking when I took this picture.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm more comfortable standing up, like I'm a teacher.
Great.
I thought I was getting called to be told that Dry Canyon was being renamed Luann Olson Canyon. Because I spend a lot of time up there, and that's part of our legacy here we have is access to the mountains. I tease that I pray facing Timpanogos, kind of like the Muslims pray facing Mecca. You know, to me, our setting and our location is fabulous, and I love it, and I love being here. And thanks to each of you, even friends of my son and other people who make this city a great place. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. So the prize is a 10-punch pass to the Lindon City Pool for the 2024 season. Thank you to the pool department, and also a crumble cookie gift card, which I'll give you guys in a second. These photos will also be displayed in the community development office for the next year, so please, anyone come and see them. Also, the past 2 years, we have them up as well. They're just in our conference room. We'd like to thank everyone who participated and all these wonderful photos we've received. And as the planning department, we're just really grateful for the opportunity to help contribute to Lindon's legacy as well. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Mary.
Very much. Wonderful. Such positive, amazing things to celebrate. Thank you, everyone. Any comments or announcements from council other than your reports? All right, we'll move forward then. We're on item number 3. This is open session for public comment. So this is where we invite anyone to come address the council if there is something that you would like to discuss or let us know about that is not on tonight's agenda. And keep those comments brief to, 2 or 3 minutes. All right, and state your name. Thank you. We know, welcome Maxine.
Maxine Smith. I just wanted to say happy Thanksgiving, but bring up a couple things that I've noticed and was concerned about. Years ago, Lindon City had a Red Cross 40 hours of training. So we had classroom, first aid, simulation wrecks, swimming pool and safety. And their motto was KISS, keep it simple. And so I hope that's something that will influence Lindon as I love it. And so does, as 4th generations, 5th and 6th generations living in Lindon, we love it. My concern is Utah North County Boulevard, the maintenance of the trash that is going in the fields to the owners, plus with Lindon City's other property and one property solid weeds, that then not be hauled down to green waste and chopped for mulch. But I noticed farmers picking up trash before they cut their hay. I also noticed years ago that large orange fiber cable was putting down the storm drains, and I thought that was unusual. But anyhow, I was concerned about also Geneva Road. I don't know how many travel that, but I travel it often. And if you go southbound from Anderson's Lane to I-15, there's just the 2 roads to pull off on the south side and no place to pull if you have a health or car problem. And that is, I talked to, I think it was Van Wagner, about that, and they said they was working with the county. But that is truly a problem now, even more with commute time and increased population. Also in the northbound lane in places you cannot pull off either. So it really becomes an item when you have emergency vehicles coming down the center lane, no place to pull off. And keeping it simple is, if you'll notice on part of that on the northbound lane, that Lindon City has put green and trees and sidewalks and so that could be space for pull-off for emergencies. Or another thing to would look at is when they installed that, they put all those trees under power lines that had to be maintained by Lindon. The other road concerned was 200 South. I don't know how many travel that one. I come off of State Street and go west, and that's been a drop-off and potholes since the Olympics in 2002 and never been filled in. And as you go down that road, this road is highly trafficked since they closed off Lakeview. And a lot of people doesn't like to go 1600 north. So as you get down, especially from 800 west to Geneva Road, that is potholes and big cracks. Knowing that asphalt division companies are closing for the winter, it is really a rugged road and dangerous with the big pieces coming out. In fact, years ago when it was dirt, it was smoother. But the concern of the damage that's going to occur because of winter coming on. So I noticed the traffic, and I was talking to other citizens. That speed limit is 25, and you can see cars all the time going 40 and 45. As an officer was at my house, he looked at that division that you could see, you know, that just the street opening. And I said, look at all the cars speeding up and down. There isn't 2 cars in 10 going the speed limit. And he said, we don't have enough officers to control it, to patrol it. So, you know, our streets are a danger with the schools on them. And the city has ordinances, and if they're not maintained, whose responsibility is it? I care about Lindon, and I've been concerned about the number of homes being sold and developed into apartments, owner not living there. Home is an a rental, and the outbuildings are rental. Several homes are been turned into 3 apartments, no owner there. I noticed Lehigh says no more apartments because of the stress on their resources. But this is happening a lot. Concerned about the upkeep. And can I ask, I know I've asked once before, Lindon City charges as we take green waste down. And it was raised from $7 to $12 this year. And I can name 3 other cities that says if you take just your green waste in with your driver's license, you can take it in free. Would Lindon City give us that same opportunity?
Actually, there's a free dump pass you can pick up each year with 2 punches. Two punches on that dump pass.
To the green dump.
Our current, so I'll let Mike take this. He serves on the board.
Okay.
Of where the waste goes right now. And from what we understand, they're not processing green waste right now separately from mulch. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I've never had an issue if I'm a Lindon citizen. I just show up my punch pass, and if they're telling you that you must pay to put green waste in there, then maybe there's just a miscommunication there.
Well, I've used my pass, but on my west fence line, trying to keep the weeds down because of the development subdivision and not adhering to the ordinances, I had to pay over $25 to take weeds in from just the fence lines of property that has to be maintained. And so, and then with your lawn clippings, and that if we don't have that green pass, they go in the totes and they have to be hauled.
Did you use your 2 passes?
I did.
And it was...
And I still had to pay after I had used the 2 passes because I do have more than a half-acre lot.
Well, I think that that's for everyone. I mean, the Lindon citizens get the 2 passes, but I think after the 2 passes, then it is, you are charged for what you bring in.
But I'm trying to maintain that ground that should have a retaining wall that I can use my property, and I can't.
Sure.
And so, and then the right-of-way that goes in to those other homes, the weeds have to be kept up.
Okay.
So,
Well, Maxine, thank you. I took notes on a lot of things that you said, and we don't have time here to address each one
Okay,
by one.
that's fine.
But if you could provide a copy of that by email or something, that would be helpful, or leave a list.
Can
then we
I
could get back with you.
address just one thing.
Okay.
And this is history, and I don't know how many of you know about the Orme and Urban Railroad that went through, and it ran on the west side of my property. And that's why I have that bank part of it and a retaining pond. And there are still at least 2 places in Lindon where that old property is still there and needs a boundary agreement. That was not set when the subdivision went in my place, by my place. And so one part of that no man's land is just being filled with weeds, trash, broken tree limbs. And there's still one other one that runs on the Martell property of that old urban railroad that needs a boundary agreement between owners. So anyhow.
So does that run, I'm sorry, does that run more like a utility easement almost?
No, it's just vacant. They've vacated the ground.
So it's
It's
an old
abandoned.
abandoned easement of some type?
yeah.
Okay, so it just needs to be claimed
And so-
somehow?
And so you want a copy of what I've said tonight?
Sure, if you could furnish that.
Okay, I
And
would
then
be glad to.
thank you for
And
being
then
here
I would like to
tonight.
leave this with you, the copy of when I was here last time, and
Okay.
ask for those 3 items be in writing, and the email from Adam that was sent, and then the reply, along with knowing that when I talked about sewer, that was talking about our first home at 250. And then, see, we built in the field, so we're now at 260. But I do have copies for them, and I'd be glad to.
If you could furnish those to Adam, that would be great. Thank
Adam
you.
had them, and he sent them back to me, so I'll just leave them with you. Thank you.
Sent her a copy
Yes.
attached to my letter.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment at this time for something not on tonight's agenda? Okay.
Just wanted to check, is the Center North on the agenda or not? Because I can't.
It
remember.
is,
Okay.
yes.
Later then. Thank you.
Okay.
Just to mention, the things that I've come and talked to you about,
Uh-huh.
Adam responded no to everyone.
Okay, we have copies of that, thank you. All right. All right, that, we will move on now to item number 4, our council reports. And you feel ready to kick
I'm
this
ready.
off, Randy? Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Want to report that our Life Hacks 101 took place a week and a half ago. It was a lovely evening, not quite as robust of a turnout as there was the year before, but it's always a learning curve when you're having a new endeavor, and this was our second one. But it was well attended nonetheless, and Jake was there as representing money. You talked about money, and that, I remember, has always been a popular subject with the teens. So, but it was a nice evening, and see, Juan is not here. Juan even was there, and Mary. And so we had several staff members, as well as a lot of community involvement. So Youth Council participated with that as well. Speaking of Youth Council, last Monday, a week ago today, they held another one of their monthly meetings, and also they participated in a service project with the mayor and their advisors, and they picked up wonderful leaves, and I did not get a report on that, Mayor. I'm sure you'll let us know when you have your report. Thank you. And then just one more thing. I was asked by the chief to participate in the sergeant's interviews last week. We are so blessed in our city that it was so tough. We had 4 individuals from our department that had applied for this position. And this decision's still not made, but I do not envy the chief on having to make this decision between 4 highly qualified candidates. And what an experience it was to get to know these 4 individuals a bit better. I was there with Scott Thompson from our planning department. He was on the panel along with Tanya from our human resources department, and then individuals, one each, an officer from Orem and one from Pleasant Grove. So it was a nice evening. Kind of dovetailing on what Maxine was having to say, I just had a question, a comment, and I guess concerns about the long-standing concerns about 200 South and Geneva Road with the crossing of over the railroad tracks and the way the traffic backs up. Do you have any new information, Mayor, as to how things are going, what UDOT is going to do for our community to alleviate that
I
awful?
can share, and Adam, please pipe in as well. So the hangup is the Union Pacific Railroad having the right-of-way across there, so that they are, it's known nationwide that that's a difficult entity to work with. So they are aware. We did have a meeting with their public relations person within the organization. I did talk also with some other individuals on our staff, our engineering staff, and has met and talked with them extensively, not only about that nexus point, but also Heritage Trail, where we're hoping to get, access over a spur and another crossing there, where 1600 is going to connect out to Vineyard and the Lindon Marina. So they're aware of that bottleneck point and us, wanting to help get a right-hand turn there. It's just a very lengthy, bureaucratic, expensive process. So I don't know that we have a specific timeline of a resolution there yet, but I'll let Adam take it from here.
Thank you.
It is all entirely Union Pacific that's the holdup right now. And so UDOT has assigned it as a project officially within their funds. It's been approved through MAG. We got that grant through them. And that would be putting in, it would be a right-hand turn lane, so there would be an automatic right-hand that could be made. As part of that, the railroad is requiring that we have to improve the panel and the crossing arms on the entire intersection. We can't just add a section. And so that's part of the cost issue on it. It's several hundreds of thousands to actually do that work.
Would that be the city or the county
It
or
would
the
be
city?
part of the grant that we received through the state. So it's transportation, federal transportation funding that's being funneled through MAG and then to the state to actually administer the project. My understanding, they're at between a 60 and 80% design, so it's been almost completed with the design, but it's just hasn't gotten the stamp of approval from the railroad. And so until they actually do that, I don't
Ball
know
is
that
in
we
their
have
court, so
a
to
time
speak.
frame.
I know that,
It's been like 3 or 4 years though.
Yes.
This has been a really long process.
and I know that Mayor Acerson has talked about this many times, and so I want to say thank you, Mayor Lundberg, for continuing to push this ball down this very long, slow court that these entities are. So it's nice to know that we're getting closer, but sad to know that it's still slower than cold molasses. But I appreciate you keeping that going, because that is a really troublesome intersection that causes a lot of inconvenience for a lot of people. So thank you on that. And then probably, this one's probably for Adam. The property manager that owns that manage these properties just off of Main Street, I'm just wondering if we could have some, on our way back, I was just noticing from our little field trip from the cemetery that there's been still a window that's out in one of those, and I'm just wondering why that has not.
On the rental homes? over
On the
there?
rental homes, the property management that takes care of the city properties there.
Okay.
It's the middle, I think it's not, it's the far north property
Okay.
that has the window that is still out. So I keep thinking it would have been taken care of, but with the weather changing the way it is, it really needs to be replaced. And I think that's all I have, Mayor.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I'm actually gonna have to be excused here as soon as I give my report. I've got a North Point Solid Waste has tonight, it's the only time we have an evening meeting, but we are having a public hearing on our 2024 budget, as well as some discussion of fees and so forth. So since I chair that board, I need to be there to chair that meeting. So yeah, I think that's all I have to report.
Okay, good luck. Thank you for representing.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Jake.
I see Heath over there. A couple of updates from Parks and Rec. Turkey Bowl this Wednesday. Keith, confirm. Adults are allowed. Randy can be there quarterbacking my team, right?
Right.
8 a.m. Wednesday, Pheasantbrook Park. That should be exciting. Christmas tree lighting, Monday, December 4th. Should be a fun event. We need to decide. We have a council meeting that day. Maybe we should discuss that real quickly.
Sure, that's on my list too. So it's been advertised as 6 o'clock. The Historic Commission thought this year maybe of going to 6:30. We've got a council meeting that night, so we could even meet with the council at 5:15 for a short bit and then recess over to that. But that could cause some problems if there's public that are coming to this meeting for those agenda items, but it's
Hard to
totally
know
up
what
to
your
you
agenda
guys.
looks like for that date, but
It's
No.
busy,
It's a
busy.
big one.
yeah.
We
And
could just
so,
meet at the later time like we used to,
Do you,
later.
do you want to,
Remind us how much you've liked the 5:15 versus the 7 o'clock that we used to do.
yeah. Do you want to have the tree lighting at 6 or 6:30 would be, do you have a preference?
I think if you've already advertised it, let's just keep it where it's at, personally. I think I've seen a
If
few
it's been
social
asked.
media posts go out already, right, Heath? And that's at 6 that's been announced? Yeah,
Then-
Mayor, what are your
Uh,
thoughts?
Six-
You-
6 and then
Six-
6:45, we're
could-
back over here then or so.
Be here 7:15 at the latest, but it should be.
Yeah, we'd probably just say 7 for council then. Is
Perfect.
that okay?
Works.
All right.
Thank you, Adam. Thanks, council. The Santa Parade, December 6th, starting at 6 p.m. If you guys haven't attended that, that's my kid's favorite. We go and park several different spots. There's a map. It's a lot of fun. Junior Jazz starting in January, and we are looking to replace Jake Woodcox. We're looking for an experienced parks technician. If we know anyone, let's encourage them to apply. Jake left some big shoes to fill. Dang it. We miss him. From the chief, we had that update on the sergeant promotion process. Cool update from the chief. We implemented our new in-car camera system, which has the technology to read license plates. Within the first week, we recovered a stolen vehicle in a parking lot. Really cool technology. I love that. And then Mayor sent out an email on one of the high-profile cases that we're dealing with. A lot of resources from our PD being placed there, so appreciate all they're doing. That's all I have.
All right, thank you so much. Dan?
Thank you. On November 15th, we attended the Public Works and Engineering bi-monthly meeting, attended with the mayor and Adam. And Randy, that's where we talk about how frustrated we can be with the railroad and how slow some of those projects are. But that's where we talk about those, get the updates, find out things that need to occur, what still need to happen, and lots of people are involved in trying to make those things come about. If you haven't driven that, the Provo River Aqueduct, the north turnout on 400 East, that is paved now, and for somebody that lives real close there, that is really nice to have that road paved back up. But that turnout is going to be a great help for the secondary water in Lindon. So long time coming, and just glad to see that coming. There's still some work that'll occur to tie in actually to the Provo River Aqueduct, but pleased to see that happen. And then the third thing, we just went to a tour, but cemetery is one of my responsibilities. It is fun that we do have now a cemetery building on site so that the process of interment can happen better. Restrooms that are there available for citizens when they're having a burial there. So a great addition to the city, well done, so pleased to see that completed and done. And I think we were talking about it when I first came on the council, so. Remember that. So these things do eventually come about. So just those three things, thank you.
Wonderful. Okay, Daryl.
Great, thank you. Last week I met with the Lindon Tree Board. We had our meeting together and discussed the upcoming Arbor Day celebration that we'll do in 2024 that has been scheduled for May 3rd. We're hoping that works with the schedule for the center over here behind us. And we'll go forward as planned as we have in the past. We've had success on that night, and we're grateful for those who from the city that come out and support that Arbor Day celebration. We also have a need for a replacement for Steve Anderson, who's been on that board for a few years. He's got some health concerns and has asked to be taken off of that board. And so any names that the council has or anyone here would like to submit names of interest to be able to serve on that tree board, we'd appreciate it. We meet about 4 or 5 times a year. We participate a little bit on Arbor Day, and so it's not really time consuming, but it gives individuals in the community an opportunity to participate on a volunteer basis if they like. Regarding the Historical Commission, they're a very active group and grateful for their efforts and for Mary spearheading that every time they meet. They are going to attempt on the 30th in the evening to come to the community center and go through the historical room and start assessing how that might look in the future. Have an opportunity where maybe in the items that are in there that can be displayed behind plexiglass, and that room might be open in the future so that people can come and see what historical things are in that room rather than have to make an appointment and have it unlocked and be available to them. And so they're going to take that effort in moving that idea forward and see how that might look in the future. We're grateful for this committee and for all their efforts there. centennial celebration next year. Those who don't know, it's 100 years starting in 2024. We're excited about that. We've got some great things outlined on the calendar. Heath and his staff have been very ambitious about what they want to accomplish there, and there's some great events taking place most every month during the 2024 calendar year, with a kickoff in March for the actual Dowdle puzzle presentation, and so we hope that citizens are excited about that and look forward to the things that are planned for them this coming year. That's all I have.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, everybody. You do such a fantastic job with all your liaison assignments. I just have to commend you all. Randy had mentioned the leaf pickup, so this is continuing through the end of the month. Public Works sponsors, we want to encourage residents to pick up their leaves and help prevent them from going down the storm drains. Just set those big black bags on the curb. They'll come around and pick them up. Youth Council had a special service project this last Monday, picking up several trailer loads full. And down at the Public Works, there's big piles of the bags, and we took a picture, pyramid style. I'll have to send you a copy, Randy.
Thank you.
So those Youth Council had a lot of fun doing that. But the leaf pickup goes through the end of the month for those that want to know. Also, just quick note, we're still in the middle of an election. Can you believe it? So due to Congressman Stewart's early retirement in a district different than ours, the state of Utah moved our elections to be 2 weeks longer than typical. I know a lot of people I've talked with said, well, election day was, on my phone. Did I miss it, or it already happened? So you still can vote, and we have, 4 council members running for 3 spots. I've told them this is the best year ever to attempt to get on the council. No incumbents and 75% chance. So we look forward to find out those results, as well as the question to renew our park tax among the citizens, which in my personal opinion has brought incredible, tremendous benefits to the community. So in any event, you can still submit your ballot. It had to be postmarked by today. So tomorrow, bring your ballot down to any county election collection boxes. We have one here at the city center.
24/7, still
Yep,
do it tonight.
they can do it in the night, yes, up until 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. So we would love to have Lindon show a great turnout, above average, right? We're above average community, right?
I think so.
Okay. All right, and then really quickly, Daryl and Heath, the challenge to plant 1,000 trees in the community. What number are we at? We're trying to do this through the end of...
333 or something like that.
Okay, we have our centennial year to finish that goal and cross the finish line. You're doing fantastic. So that's city effort along with community effort, and there's a QR code you can link in, and when you plant a tree, help us get that tally going for that challenge.
Mayor, it also includes woody plants.
Woody bushes, right?
Not just trees.
Okay. Not weeds.
I'm doing pretty well there.
Grapevines, do they count? They're woody.
Eventually, right? And then also just Public Works, I just have to commend our Public Works staff. Randy has sat on as a liaison there, and Van currently now, and there were 3 water breaks as our youth council was collecting leaves on Monday night at once. And I just have to commend the staff. They were on call, if you didn't know, last Easter Sunday even, dealing with an issue that was caused not by any fault of our city, but to take care of some issues. And so I'm just so impressed with the professionalism, the skill set that they bring, the passion they bring to keep everything running so flawlessly and smoothly here. And also how they look forward, and they're not just chasing fires and patches, they're actually collecting data and using strategic software and planning to take care of our aging infrastructure and get ahead of the curve on that. So always impressive, the quantity and the quality of what they're doing. Those meetings take a lot of hours because there's just such a significant hit list. So if you have an area of Lindon, like the resident that came here today, we do take those comments and feedback, and we try to address things and get to your street or your area of the community. We want it to have the best streets in the state. So, and I have to commend also, we do this without raising taxes. So Lindon is in a good spot, and that's because of our healthy commercial tax base, and also just, I have to commend the council members here that are outgoing. They've all been amazing fiscal stewards. They always look, to be wise fiscal stewards in their tenure. So do more with less. All right, so now that's all I have as well. Thank you, everyone, for your reports, and I'll just turn now over to our city administrator, Adam Cowie, for his list of items as well.
Yeah, several things there, just.
Council administrator's report. Okay, so we're just about there. Thank you. She keeps me straight, so she's good. Okay.
Just an update on that surplus property we discussed in our last meeting on the corner of Geneva and Center Street. Before we got too much further, we just wanted to contact UDOT. That corner is listed as a potential intersection for a traffic signal, and we were thinking that we would just retain an easement for the pole. UDOT says they will only install poles on property that is owned by the state. And so we will retain that property and maybe be able to work out some sort of lease agreement with the property owner next door to that. So just an FYI. And then let's see here, we've listed several other items there, just some upcoming things with some retiring employees, Sergeant Barlow, and also our city recorder, Kathy Mosman, with some retirement open houses there for them. And the employee Christmas party on the 15th. So that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Now on to the approval of the minutes. This is item number 6 on the agenda. Council, do you have any amendments or questions in that regard?
I have one small one somewhere. I think, okay, on page 6 of the minutes, 16 of the staff report, line 11. Not being picky here, but I made the second to adjourn, not Jake Hoyt.
I had to sneak that one in.
I know how you're trying to
Kathy's
do
got
that,
my
Jake,
back.
but
She's worried about
I know
me.
you were talking to Kathy and trying to get that pie me, but you didn't, so
Someday.
thank you. That's all I had.
All
I'm
right.
gonna try it with the new guys when they get in eventually.
Watch
I'll
this
try
guy.
I'll try it.
Kathy.
Motion, if there's no further.
Apologies. Kathy, I just had a note on some of the comments that were made regarding the panel that I served on at the UVU Growth and Prosperity Summit. There was actually some comments, and thank you. I have to acknowledge and commend Adam for catching an article that accidentally reported the opposite of what I said on that panel. And so got that corrected in a correction in the paper. But I will want to chat with you really quickly on the summary there, just to be a little more clear. Okay. I'd entertain a motion then.
Great. I'll make the motion to approve the minutes of November 6, 2023 as reviewed.
I'll second the motion.
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Magleby, seconded by Councilmember Hoyt to approve the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that sounds unanimous. All right, we'll move now to the consent agenda. Typically, these are items we consider generally housekeeping items that don't require a discussion, but we have none tonight. So we'll move forward to item number 8, and this is a public hearing where we're going to allow the public to provide input regarding the sales tax agreement in connection with the 700 North property purchase. So I would
Make a
entertain
motion to open a public hearing.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Broderick, seconded by Councilmember Powell.
You're good.
To open a public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are in a public hearing. I'll turn this to staff.
Yeah, just as a quick background, so the city is looking to purchase approximately 8.2 acres of commercial land along the 700 North corridor. The purchase would actually occur through the RDA, the Redevelopment Agency of Lindon City. The city then has passed a resolution indicating that it would basically backstop those bond payments and help make up the difference in any payments from the funds that the RDA collects through tax increment out in that area with sales tax revenues from the city. And so the primary purpose tonight of this is to take any public comment on what impact this may have of the city's sales tax agreement with the RDA, if any impact on the private sector Just as an FYI, the city council in our last meeting in the budget hearing included a $500,000 transfer from the general fund to the 700 North CDA, and then identified using $600,000 from the 700 North CDA's fund balance. Combined, that's $1.1 million, and that would go towards the down payment on the purchase. So the remainder of the purchase is approximately $3.6 million, which we are currently soliciting bids from lending institutions for the best interest rates on that price, or on that purchase. And we'll have those, they're supposed to be due, I think it's Wednesday at 5, and so we'll have those early the following week and get that information to you before our next meeting on December 4th. So tonight, there's no action required by the city council for this item other than receiving public comment.
Right. And for those that are catching this currently, you know, a lot of these topics often are across several meetings, and so would just like to welcome anyone to refer back to the October 2nd council night presentation for kind of the presentation of the purpose of this for the Lindon Village area plan. So at this point, if there's any public that would like to come forward, please come to the stand and state your name.
I'm Karen Danielson. I live in what you guys call West Lindon, down by 700 North.
Awesome.
I've been there for 16 years, and I've been so excited about the idea of a walkable downtown. Like, that's what's actually gotten me excited to be a little more involved, and I was on the General Plan Committee, and now I'm on the Planning Commission. And I just feel like if we don't take this opportunity, that it's going to be a missed opportunity to make something great down there. And where we live, like, I would say, if you asked me 5 years ago how I felt living in Lindon, I'd say, well, I feel like they don't really care about us, but I like my neighborhood, you know? And I do. I love my neighborhood. I love where I'm at. But now that I've gotten more involved, I have appreciated how much I've noticed that you guys actually do put thought into our neighborhood. And I've learned a lot more about what you do and the considerations you've made. But my concern is if we don't do this, then we're going to end up still getting the same proposals that we've been getting. That, you know, that I'm appreciative that you have not taken, and I don't want us to get to a point where we feel like we have to settle for something that I don't think would be as great for our neighborhood and for Lindon as a whole. So I would love to have a great gateway for Lindon through this walkable downtown, and I hope you'll keep this in mind as you make this decision. Thank you.
My name's Scott Thompson. Many of you know me. I'm also on the Planning Commission. I just wanted to come tonight. I know you've already discussed this issue prior, and you've decided to do this purchase. I think so tonight it sort of comes down to finances. You know, was it wise and prudent? Well, I think in this situation it's very simple. It's real estate. I mean, I really don't think there's any real risk here in the long run, because if we buy this property, let's say I believe that it's going to take off. It's going to be the catalyst that's going to bring in a developer who wants to do something other than a strip mall along 700 North. We need that additional depth. So it's going to give us that ability to do that. But let's say hypothetically down the road, 5-10 years from now, it doesn't work out. It's going to be prime real estate. We'll be able to use it for any other situation. So I don't think we can really go wrong with real estate. Ever since I've been here, I love the whole concept of Lindon Village. As you recall, I sent a letter out about how I used to be in a small town that didn't have an identity. I think this is really an opportunity for us to do that. And so I strongly encourage you to vote yes on the bonds, to get that moving, so we don't scare off any investors that are already possibly milling around looking, but need that extra depth. I was very disappointed on the commission at the time when that land reverted back to Ivory Homes. And so when I have an opportunity now to pick it up, I just support it. And I hope you do too. Thank you.
Thanks for your service.
Hi, my name is Ryan Doan, and I grew up here in Lindon. I grew up over on Canal Drive, and moving sprinkler pipe, riding horses, working there. And then my first job was here in Lindon. My dad started a company here in Lindon. I love Lindon. So when I had the opportunity to move back, I was really excited. My wife and I live in the west area of Lindon as well, and our property backs up right to Ron Anderson's land right there. And so when I heard initially about the Lindon Village, I was a little nervous about how it would go, but over the past few years, as I've learned more and more about it, I love the vision of Lindon Village, and I really appreciate all the discussion that's been had. I watched, it was October 6th. I don't remember what the exact date was. Watched as much of that as I could, and I really appreciate the thought that you all are putting into it. So I'm excited about this opportunity for Lindon to have a hand in really deciding where we're going to go with that and building more community throughout the whole of Lindon. And I think that's all I want to say. Thank you very much for all your work, all of you.
Thanks, Ryan.
All right. All welcome. Any other comment? This is your chance.
Don't make us close it.
So my name's Pat Hansen. I've been in Lindon for, 3/4 of my life, and I'm 60 years old now, so that tells you a little bit. So I love what we've been doing with Lindon, and I think, we went from a little bit of country to now we're growing into a larger city, but we've lost a little bit of identity, and I think that this area down there allows us to have an open area or an area where we can congregate and we can have that downtown type of feel, that village. As I've looked into this, I really support this, and the idea of just getting that other piece of land so that we're not putting more strip malls in. We don't need any more strip malls. We need to have a place where people can come and enjoy and have that River Woods type of feel, or something like that. So again, as a longtime resident, I see the growth that's taking place within the city, and I think we lost a little bit of our identity along the way, and I think this gives us an opportunity to centralize and do something with that area down on the west side. So as somebody said here, they felt like they weren't even part of Lindon. That kind of branches it out. So I support this move. I hope you guys vote for it in a positive way. And as Scott pointed out, how can you lose with Lindon, land in Lindon? If this thing totally goes south, we're not going to be upside down in it. It's just, I think it's a no-lose situation. Thank you.
Thanks, Pat.
All right. Anyone else? Thank you for your comments. We really appreciate you taking the time to come out here and be engaged and involved as citizens and studying the different issues. So thank you for being here and your thoughts.
Need a motion?
Yes, I did.
I make a motion, Mayor, to close this public hearing.
By Councilmember Powell, seconded by Councilmember Magleby. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. We are not taking any action on this item this evening. This was just simply a discussion for the public to give their public hearing. So I believe we're okay to move on to the next item.
Number 9. Yep.
All right. So item number 9, this is also a public hearing for a fee schedule update. And I would entertain another motion to open the public hearing before we invite our staff to come up.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Motion by Councilmember Hoyt, seconded by Councilmember Magleby. All in favor?
Aye.
Again, in a public hearing.
So this is just one change to add in our fee schedule, a 5% administrative processing fee that we could be using or apply to miscellaneous transactions where the city is collecting a pass-through type of fee. An example of this would be the city of Orem has recently indicated that they'll be collecting some fees for fire inspections through the business licensing process. We would collect the money through the business license and then pay Orem. And so this would be a 5% administrative fee to help cover our costs as part of that process. So, any questions on that?
Pretty straightforward.
So there's a resolution and then the attached exhibit that this language would be added to our fee schedule.
Any public comment? Lincoln.
Lincoln Jacobs. I think I understand this, and the way you just said it makes sense. But as I read this, Lindon will add and retain the 5% administrative process fee to help cover our own costs. It's just a 5% fee. And in the cases where Orem charges that, we pass it on to them. Are there other cases where we keep 5%?
So we would be, if they had $100 fee, we would charge an additional 5% and keep that 5%, and then still pass through that full $100 to Orem.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Yeah, so we're retaining 5% of whatever that miscellaneous fee may be. Let me rephrase that. We are charging additional 5% to retain whatever that fee is.
And to administrate it, really.
Correct. And so we may be setting up files, or we're collecting bills or payments, we're sending out notices to invoice people. So there's some administrative processes that we may do here, and we'll keep that fee to help cover our costs.
Very limited scope of.
Yeah, besides the fire department.
Yeah, I mean, things like, we already do
Thank you,
this in
Lincoln.
some other instances, it's a different rate. Like with Utopia, we have some charges that are administered through the city, and we have an administrative fee.
Yeah.
With some of the Utopia collections. Garbage services would probably be something similar, where Republic is charging the city something, and then we're actually trying to cover our costs. And so the garbage rate is combined what Republic's fee is plus the city's administrative rate to help cover that administrative cost.
Great.
Nothing else comes to mind other than this one offhand, so.
Mayor, I'll motion to close the public hearing.
All right, thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Hoyt, seconded by Councilmember Broderick to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, back to you, council. Any further discussion?
I'll make a motion if
Thank
we
you
need to.
very
I'll
much.
move to approve Resolution 2023-24-R, approving the Lindon City Fee Schedule update as presented.
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Powell,
I can second that.
seconded by Councilmember Hoyt. We'll bring it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that is unanimous. Thank you so much. All right, we're making great time this evening. So we're on to our last item here, which is item number 10. This is a discussion item for the council to review a new possible collaboration that I'm very, very excited about. So just a little bit of background. We have property here in the city of Lindon near our Lindon Marina that has been vacant for decades. And the question has been, we had some forethought by some individuals, leaders previously who purchased this ground, and as a future public amenity for the citizens of Lindon. But there was no plan, and recently I have to thank the council that came together and allowed this area here to have a vision for a conservation park. We have a lot of programmed, turfed type parks in the community, and this area has some beautiful wetlands. Just a little bit north, we also have a pathway along this property, and so the vision was to create the type of park that would invite the public to interact with the natural ecology of the area, and so turn the overgrown pasture weeds into something that the public could really enjoy. So this plan here would take some significant investment to create some of those fishing ponds and some of those nature areas, and also harken back to the history of Lindon. This site is quite significant in Utah history as Geneva Park Resort. There was a hotel here starting in pioneer times up until mid last century. There was a giant water slide. You can see these pictures here. There was a dance pavilion. Folks would get on that little railroad. They would come down the railroad, from what I've been told, and they would get off near the old linden tree area, and then that little inner railroad would take them down to the lake, or they'd have wagons, excuse me, I misspoke, they'd have the wagons take them to the lake. So this was kind of like a pioneer version of Disneyland for Utah County.
Adam, do you remember seeing a picture of a bear, like a pet bear that you could pet?
They had a captive bear, yeah.
Lyle Lamro has a picture from here that
I've seen that one.
that has a bear that they literally had there, and you could like pet the bear. We got to find that picture and add it to this slide, or I'm not approving.
Head up, Lyle, get him down here. So anyway, this site, unfortunately, none of those structures are there any longer due to age or just some fires that happened. So we currently still have a trail that is along parallel to this property and the Lakeshore Marina. And there's just a lot of exciting things that have been going on around here. In my role as mayor, I get to participate in a lot of things on the county level or sometimes with other agencies. So to the north of this property, it's owned by the Timpanogos Special Services District. They process all the sewer for our neighboring sister cities, and they have a huge comprehensive plan to connect our path with them and restore some wetlands there, make that an amazing spot for the public to be able to traverse. And then that will connect all the way up to the American Fork Marina, and from American Fork, there's plans to have the trail then connect further north. And so seeing these opportunities to leverage the conservation of the lake, I also have the honor of sitting on the Utah Lake Authority. Once I was elected, I was able to represent our city and also the region at large in the efforts to restore Utah Lake, restore the ecology, restore the cleanliness of the water. The efforts of the ULA is also to help bring the public back to the lake and have meaningful access points there. And so with that thought in mind, the Utah Lake Authority was looking for a site to have some office and headquarters, something small. We also have opportunity with UVU. They were looking for a place where their graduate students could have do things with the lake and the ecology, different scientific experiments with the water, the plants, and have a laboratory and a classroom location there adjacent to the water. So initially there was a site selected in further north, and hearing that maybe that could maybe not be as ideal, brought into some conversations about, well, why don't we look at this site here in Lindon? We also have some opportunities with some partnerships and leveraging with our sister city of Vineyard. They're very excited about this site as well to tie into and help support and collaborate maybe some of the tie-ins with the infrastructure. So long-winded background, I'll get to the point. We now have an opportunity to bring all these stakeholders together and do something really incredible and create a wildlife center that would be administered by Utah Valley University. And Adam and I met with Representative Val Peterson, who sits on their board, and showed him this as a possible option. The Utah Lake Authority now is also very excited about this site and making this their primary spot to move forward. There were some environmental concerns at large with the other location, and this, from what I understand, is considered a more ideal location for the students as well as the environmental concerns. So in those we are currently in negotiations with UVU. This project would be, between $15 to $25 million project potentially of investment. And so what we've asked of UVU is if we allowed them to build this building, it would be a wildlife center to allow children to come and have field trips and access the trail and the wetlands plans that are going on to the north of us, and then also enjoy the park here that we have. It would be a site for the scientific community as well to work on their environmental issues that are so necessary for the lake. It would help connect the public with nature. And so this is just a preliminary concept with UVU that if they would build this structure, and then part of the negotiation is we would deed to them the ground where this structure would go, and then we would still maintain ownership of our park adjacent. So this is just the front area of that acreage. And so that research and study could go on there with the educational resources and the community engagement. And so at this point, part of the negotiation has been, would they then be, and in lieu of, purchasing the property, would they not only invest in that building that would be open for our residents and as a regional draw, but also finish the park that we have designed. And here you can see our concept, as well as maintain that. So the idea would have pathways for water-wise plants. Another collaborator that's at the table is the Hutchings Museum Institute. And so we would house a conservatory, small greenhouse there, where they would grow plants and water-wise things for the public to learn about and have interpretive signs in the pathways along with the pond. So anyway, I'm super excited about this, to have all these things potentially come together and be able to collaborate. And it would be a win-win for all around, in my opinion. And if this is something that our council sees as a value and our public, this is something that we would then have one of our legislators would go write an appropriation bill for this site with the state of Utah this next legislative session. So if there's anything, Adam, you would like to add. Okay. So this is a discussion item. Would love to have council, if you have any questions about this in particular.
I'm just so excited, 6.5 years after the time when the city was surplusing a portion of the land that was adjacent to this. I am so excited that this is coming to some sort of a good pivot point of going forward. And I love the renderings for the most part, I guess. I know that it's just conceptual, but I like that the nod to the historical buildings that we have pictures of in the past. I like the conception of trying to bring in some of those elements, if we can add any of those as that goes forward, and UVU in that design, that would thrill me. But I love the fact that we are taking steps forward. We're doing it in a prudent way. We're doing it in collaboration with many entities. And to me, the additional entities in this will also add to the success and the availability to the population at large. In speaking with you, Mayor, I mentioned how much I appreciate Provo Canyons, the Bridalveil Falls and Provo City owning that, and the maintenance of that they put forward. It's not what it was when I was a teenager, but it is a beautiful spot where people from all over can come and enjoy, and that's what I foresee for this particular piece of land. I know it doesn't look like it, but it will look like this someday, and I look forward to that. So.
I'm pleased to hear that, Randy. When Mayor and I spoke on this, I tried to rack my brain for unintended consequences. I know we have a duty to the former mayors, for the former city fathers who worked so hard to get this property, and I think this fits that vision. For me, it's always been a feasibility, a cost, and it answers that question so well. And so I'm really excited about this, and I'd like to commend our mayor for the collaboration, working so well with so many groups. I mean, this will be a perfect example of people coming together, and we are going to get so much more. So great job, really admirable to work together to really exciting stuff.
Yes, very similar comments. This doesn't happen unless all of those parties come together. I don't think any one of those groups can do it by themselves. Obviously, Lindon couldn't. It maybe piecemealed for a long time. So if all of those groups come together, and there's some real excitement here for sure.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with it. I don't have any concerns other than my dog Coda asked me this morning if there's still going to be a dog park.
Sorry, that will go away, but
that was one of the
Vineyard
considerations at one point.
Building the dog park just to the
That
south.
will work for him.
All right. Well, very good. And I'd welcome any comment from the public here as well.
I'm so glad you said that. I sent you a text, but I don't think you got it in time.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. When I first started hearing about this in the dog park down there, it bothered me because this is in Vineyard. It's only going to be Vineyard people that use this, right? But we would be putting out to finance this. But over time, as I've heard more and more about it, and especially with this proposal where the funding can come from an external source, education is our future, right? Educating our children, our young children, our college students, and with all the amenities that are involved in this park, as I was reading through this today, it was just giddy with excitement. I tried to imagine something that would be negative and perhaps us, losing ownership of that property that we're going to deed over to UVU or whomever. Maybe there could be a negative in there. I can't imagine one. But the overall, just the overall plan and everything, gosh, what a great win-win for everybody, and super excited, especially about the educational opportunities that this would provide. This is great for Lindon and a lot of other communities. It's great.
Absolutely. Scott, you're going to have to arm wrestle.
Just one quick
Yeah.
comment. This would have never occurred unless we owned the land.
You're fun. We can thank Mayor Ellison for that.
Well, thank you. I'm Terry Harmon with Conserve Utah Valley, one of the directors of Conserve Utah Valley. So I'm not a Lindon resident, but I am a huge advocate for Utah Lake. And so we are just so excited about this. The property that you're protecting, I've spent hundreds of hours on the North Shore in Saratoga Springs, which is where I live. And so moving here is actually protecting one of the best examples of wetland and upland restoration that we have on Utah Lake. Utah Lake, we only have about 20,000 acres of wetlands left. Most of those have been restored. So it's really exciting to the idea of more restoration happening, more shoreline stewardship happening. And the education is huge. That's one of our biggest challenges with Utah Lake is the education. I mean, we've all heard all the negative things about Utah Lake, that collective memory that just stays forever and ever and ever, but it's not true anymore. So these education centers, we don't have a nature center like they do at Great Salt Lake and other places. So we're excited so much for that education to get the truth of Utah Lake out there. We're excited that there's so many partnerships here because that's what the lake really is about, is partnerships of everyone in the valley coming together to support the lake. So thank you so much.
Hi, my name's Kay Nelson. I'm Executive Director of Conserve Utah Valley, and this is a Christmas gift for many, many, many people. This is a wish come true. We've been really concerned about Utah Lake Authority and plans to put an education center in an area that Terry just described that really should just stay natural. It's a beautiful area. If you've never been there, go there. And I can assure you it's not just going to be Vineyard people or Lindon residents that use this. I live in Provo and we visit the lake often, and we choose Lindon Marina or we choose Provo Boat Harbor or a couple of other access points to go visit the lake. So this is like the vision someone had for Central Park in New York City. This is visionary, and hopefully it'll be contagious. Hopefully other cities will follow the lead and do similar things like this so that it connects all the way around the lake. We may be long gone when that happens, but my grandchildren and family will get to enjoy that at some point. So thank you so much. This is such an awesome idea.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
So much. Oh,
I always like to point out those pictures. My grandparents went there for recreation, for the dances and things, so.
oh, wonderful.
Amazing.
Well, we'll have more dances again. We're going to have a pavilion and lots of amazing activities, hopefully.
Ryan Doan again. Mayor Ellertson was actually my LDS bishop growing up, and I love that he was the mayor, and
Yep.
I didn't know that's when it happened, that we
Yes.
got this land. This is the first I've heard of this, but I'm excited. Thank you for selling the vision. My first thought when you talked about it was, wait, that land? I drive past it all the time. We actually park right there next to the marina and go walking along the trail, and that is wonderful. So I think Lindon residents will use it too. Thank you.
Couple last things, if I could,
Okay,
Mayor.
sure.
I just brought copies of the minutes from 2017, when I was in the public at that point. We talked about this, and it's just so fun to see people that said, let's do something that's conservational, that is a nature walk. And to see this come to fruition now just warms my heart beyond. I mean, this, I'm going out. So next month is my last month in office, and to go out with this, having been a discussion, just warms my heart. And I encourage all those on the council coming forward to make sure they support the mayor. I will be out here in the audience supporting this going forward. So just thank you for all of the people that came to that meeting. And there was we had 4 meetings in here, and there was some that were quite robust. And the comments reflect that. But so many of these people want what is being discussed tonight. My one last question, Mayor, would be, is there any potential, just a thought here, to lease the land to UVU for $1 versus the sale of it? So just a thought of maybe, is that something to think about? So just throwing it out there.
You know, just briefly, Brian and I have discussed this, and from the liability standpoint, if Lindon owns this property in any way, we would get looped into any litigation. If there's a trip, a slip, a fall, something happens with the building, we are the underlying landowner. We couldn't see, if we're not generating a revenue from this, if we're leasing or
And I
renting
meant
the building.
just a nominal,
Yeah.
$1 to
Without
15,
some sort
whatever.
of revenue stream, we don't see the public benefit of maintaining the liability potential. And so that was our thought initially on that. But Brian, do you have anything?
That's my one concern. Oh, I got a microphone.
Yay, and we're going to use it. This is a new addition.
Okay. The liability was my one concern.
Okay.
And, but there are leases out there, 50, 99-year leases. That is the potential, but that was my concern, is the liability, so.
And I think it was that's something to rattle on, just to think about, so.
Yeah, that is a possibility if that's what the council would like to do.
Well, just a
And
thought.
we can negotiate good
Not
terms.
saying I'm pro or con, just
The whole, determine our own future 100 years from now, and say UVU decides, hey, we want to put X, Y, or Z that we don't necessarily love, but certainly something to consider, to look at. It may be a deal breaker with UVU, and if that's the case, then I think we don't look a gift horse in the mouth. But I like that idea, Randy.
Yeah, this is the time where
21, 24.
nothing has been formalized yet, and so I invite any of you to, if there's any other things that you think we should be considering, kind of looking with that long-range vision is excellent.
Scott has a
Would it be all right if UVU ever chose to sell it, that we would get first right?
That's a great idea.
Yeah, this will be a public
First right of
amenity, and
refusal.
perpetuity is important.
Do we have any idea when the state lease is up on?
Oh, the marina?
On the marina?
Just was re-upped, but 5 years ago?
I don't remember how long that is.
The individuals,
20-year lease, so is it?
Then it's
Thanks, Sharon.
I have heard that those individuals are potentially looking to sell their operating lease, and that would be an interesting conversation to have. If, some of the other cities like American Fork and others manage their own marinas. So, but that's another topic to wrap our arms around and understand and potentially
Topic for another
pursue.
day.
But it would give us, yes, there's some storage, dilapidated storage on the other side of the trail that would be really nice to address. And I think,
That finger, that dirt finger that goes out the pier, I mean, people use that all the time for going out and have a fire, fish, and all that stuff. Wouldn't it be great to incorporate that somehow into the park? That little finger that goes out into the lake.
Good point.
yes. Well, very good. And again, this has been just so exciting. The fact that we had a visual plan and a vision of what we wanted to come here really gave me the ability to sell this as a place to bring all these entities and drive them here. And if this goes through as we hope, this will be an incredible investment in the community right here in Lindon, but it'll also be just an incredible benefit for generations to come, and our council will be part of making history. I think we all kind of made a promise that we would do something special at this place. So it's really exciting. So thank you. So this is just a discussion item, like I said, and so if see no further discussion, okay.
To adjourn.
Oh.
Motion to adjourn, sorry.
Okay.
Second.
No, we were eyeing each
No, I-
other.
I
He
said
gave me
you
the
go
wink.
ahead.
He yielded, so
Yes, he
Van
did.
has,
Very, very-
he's historically the adjourn leader, so he's allowing our outgoing Councilmember Powell to have that honor.
We've arm wrestled over that
Okay,
a
so
time or two.
motion, we have to officially, we have a motion by Councilmember Powell, seconded by Councilmember Broderick. All in favor to adjourn?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. This was, what a positive, incredible night. So many fun things we got to do. Okay.
So great to have you. We're excited.
So excited.